Hello, and from Silverstone with love, it's time for the 2025 British Grand Prix, and the motorsport gods have once again delivered straight up cinema. Welcome back to the Paddock Girls, where we break down all the speed, scandal, and sass from the heart of Formula One. The grandstands were packed, the skies were dramatic, per usual, and the energy Union Jack unhinged. Whether you were cheering for a hometown hero, praying for McLaren's tire strategy to hold up, or side-eyeing Ferrari's latest gamble, I was. The race had it all. On today's recap, we have Amy, Chelsea, and me, Melissa, telling you all you need to know from this weekend. So grab a cup of tea or something stronger, because Silverstone never just gives us a race, it gives us history and motion. Now let's get into it.
Yeah. So it's not a PGP recap. I feel like a broken record, y'all, without me covering our track changes or any race updates. I have no major race updates, but I am back, besties, with some track changes. It is not a wild list this time, thank God, but it is still a list nonetheless. They have removed the curb at the turn one runoff on the left-hand side, the gravel in the gravel trap on the exit of turn 18 has been changed to a lighter material. They do not tell us what, but it's a, quote, lighter material, whatever that means. They have one red curb element in the turn one apex that has been replaced by a flat curb element. Two red curb elements in the turn 6 apex that have been replaced by a flat curb element. A red curb element in turn 9's apex that has also been replaced with a flat curb element. And 3 red curb elements at the apex of turn 9 that have been replaced with, yep, you guessed it, a flat curb element.
It sounds all
Do
like
I know
chemistry.
what that means? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that they're doing curb changes like that, so I have to share what it is. It's just kind of required at this point. We do have some special liveries. I have to start off with the one that I saw first visually, and that is V-Carb. They didn't just give us a special livery, but they also gave us matching merch and matching race suits. There was a ton going on with the livery, so when they dropped the photos, I still had a really hard time deciding if I loved it or if I hated it, because there was just so much with the background they chose. I wish they had just had the wild livery on like a flat, plain background without having all of the other graffiti around it, because it just made it like overwhelming visually.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan because like they already have so many logos on their liveries.
Exactly.
And covering the car with scribble artwork, I get it, it's artwork. It really just looked very messy to me. And I don't think it like sent the message they wanted it to send. Like it just kind of looked
all
like,
over the place.
Well, my issue was like it didn't scream British Grand Prix. Like,
no.
It just felt like a really random time to do it.
I think it would have been better, like, looking at it maybe for Miami, given, like, when words, like, art stuff, like the murals and everything. I think...
Oh, yeah, because of Wynwood.
Yeah, and then... Or maybe even, like, Vegas, somewhere, or, I don't know, anywhere else but Silverstone. But at the same time, like, I think with the logos, they could have, like, muted them out, like, done the black and white, just like the art that they added on, and it would have been less of an eyesore.
I mean, I get that they were working with,
busy.
like... Yeah, no, it, like, okay, I get the London of it is that they were working with, like, a London artist. But I feel like you have to, at least if you're going to do a livery around it, push beyond just, like, art and bring it back into racing or something, or your team, or a driver, I don't know. It just seemed very random.
Yeah, it for me, didn't make much sense. I mean, the race suits were kind of cool. I think I would have liked it if they had just done the race suits almost. Because the race suits were fine.
Yeah.
But the livery was just like too much to process.
Or
I don't know
even
if anybody
helmets.
else. Yeah, if people online want to let us know what your thoughts were on the V-Carb livery, I want to know if I'm the only person who thinks that it was just like a lot for my brain to process, because I just like had a really hard time deciding how I felt about it. The livery that I know I liked, which is unsurprising to me, is McLaren, because they were back at it with the chrome, which we all love. I really liked this livery. It wasn't anything super groundbreaking, but it was really nice. Like it did the job.
No, I'm happy they brought back the chrome because I'm a really big fan of it. I just wish they would do like the all chrome like they had like way back when. Iconic. We all know it's like Lando's like favorite like livery too, so I can just imagine how much like how hype he gets when he sees like, oh yeah, we're getting back to like the chrome livery. But they also even had special race suits going into this weekend. It was like a little subtle like all black, like blackout, and then like you saw like the Google color scheme like on the side of like their livery and everything. I liked it, but again, the livery was just, it was nice. Big fan.
We also got special helmets, and anybody who knows me knows that I love special helmets. I'm a sucker. Lando Norris did probably the most subtle helmet like change. I almost didn't catch it at first, and that was the fact that his blob helmet, he did basically what I'm calling special edition blobs, where he had some of them with the Union Jack, and I am so obsessed because it was like super subtle that like I didn't quite catch it at first, and I thought I was seeing things, and then I saw it on his Instagram and I was like, oh my god, you're a friggin' evil genius. This is perfect. Like, I have really not a single note.
It was, no. I didn't notice it until it must have missed it. I must have missed it from like my Instagram feed, but I didn't notice it literally till today, and I saw like the Union Jack and I was like, oh, he has that. And I really liked it because it's like so subtle, so it's like one of those like you really have to look, but it wasn't taken away from like his main helmet design. Yeah.
No, I think it's really fitting for Lando because it's still focused on his like brand, but the way that they were subtly able to do it. Also, I like that's not just one. It's like multiple of those little shapes. Mm-hmm. It's kind of scattered very well, like around the helmet. So I love it. It's really much all in the details when it comes to that design.
It really is.
I also liked that he kept the neon, like the traditional like blob helmet, because it matched all the wrapping he did on the Lando stand. So I liked that it was still keeping connection to that while being like special for his home GP.
Still him, but still special for home.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was
branding.
Perfect. Another Brit that I feel like we have to talk about, or at least I have to talk about, is Ollie. Oliver Bierman, honestly, for me, never misses with a helmet. It's so nice. I liked that he kind of just kept it kind of neutral with the color choices. It wasn't anything super wild, but like it worked. It did what he needed it to do. I really, really liked it. We also had another Brit and Alex Albon giving us a really interesting helmet design, and that is the fact that it was covered with cartoons of like, I think it was like 23 or 24 of his fans with their names on it, which I just thought was a really interesting choice. It didn't necessarily scream like British Grand Prix, but it definitely was a nice like homage to some of his fans. I found it really interesting. Going into the weekend, I didn't see anything from George or Lewis, which was really surprising to me.
I'm upset that Lewis didn't have anything for this weekend either. I know Ferrari, like they do for Charles for Monaco, like they always have like special merch, like the hat and everything, which was really cool. So it's like a sunset type looking scheme. That's how it looked like to me. So I was expecting something around the lines of that going in, but nothing. Maybe we'll get something for like Monza or maybe Brazil. I hope for Brazil since I'll be there. So
I really hope he does something for Brazil.
I could see it being Brazil.
I was just so surprised that he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
For the British Grand Prix, I mean, he did do a merch line with Mission 44 or Plus 44, not Mission 44.
Yeah, he
that's
has
his
a
nonprofit
special one. Yeah.
But that was like the only thing he did, which I just found it kind of surprising.
Well, George did actually end up having one. It was just a super bright blue from what I saw. It wasn't anything special or exciting or also Silverstone like focused. It was just cute. But Kimmy did have one, and I thought it knocked it out of the park. It was literally my favorite out of all the helmets this weekend. And I honestly think, funny enough, that helmet would have gone better with McLaren's chrome livery than Lando's, even though I do love Lando's helmet, but I wish he would have done chrome again. But maybe because he did the disco ball recently.
Yeah. He can do chrome with like the little like black blobs. An idea.
Oh,
Or
see,
all
that would
black
be
with like the
fun.
blobs being
No,
like
no,
chrome.
yeah. No, I like the other one, the
Yeah.
chrome with the black blobs. Like
Yeah,
that
I
would be
think
cool.
that'd
I
be
mean,
cool.
I like either.
Either one would be
I
cool.
would
Yeah.
You could
happily.
still,
He still
honestly,
has
you
like
could still add in the neon if you were to do like a blackout, because like neon lights, you know?
Vegas. Hello.
There you go.
Lando,
I think
talk
we
to
just
me.
accidentally planned his Vegas helmet.
Talk to us. Talk to us.
Honestly, I missed Kimmy's and George's until Chelsea had said something, and then I had to go to the McLaren to go to the Mercedes Instagram page to find the post, because I didn't see anything on George's page, because I went to all of the drivers' individual pages that are from the UK and was like, what did you do for your helmet? And I was like, why is there nothing for George? I think the only thing he added, it seemed like it was the same shade of blue that he normally does. But I think he added a very interesting design on the back of the helmet
it was just a
of
back
the Union
design.
Jack. But yeah, I was so surprised that like he didn't make a bigger post out of it. But to each their own, I guess.
I mean, like you said, it wasn't anything exciting. He literally just did the outline of the Union Jack in like the neon orange of the 63. So like, I don't know, it wasn't very screaming London to me.
No.
You would think, which with like how posh
Being a
and
Brit
how,
driver.
and being so British as he is, because I think he even watched like one of the royal weddings, like the Queen's funeral when she passed and everything. It's like, my dude.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like the poshest dude on the grid, so like I'm just surprised that he didn't lean into like the London town energy. Oh well,
next year.
Now, obviously we could talk about helmets all day because we have thoughts on what people could do for helmets. That could be an episode in its friggin' self. We do have to at least touch on briefly to free practice. Free practice 1, we had 2 of my favorite rookies, would you call them, on track in Paul Aaron and Arvid Lindblad, and I was losing my shit because I did not know that they were pulling Arvid until like this weekend, and I freaked out. I knew Paul was coming, but I was just like so excited to see Arvid on track in an F1 car.
No, it was super cool for Arvid because he's also the second youngest driver in to like drive in an F1 weekend, obviously behind Max, and everything's Max. But I thought that was really fun, like for him, because I read the article too, and I was like, oh, look at this, a newbie.
Yeah, I'm a big fan when like the rookies come out and do their test trials, because in F2 and F3 there's only certain tracks they race at, but then like they get that extra exposure in an F1 car at different tracks as well too. But besides like the rookie drivers, there's nothing really out of the ordinary for this free practice, fortunately, because sometimes we don't want bad stuff happening. Other than honestly just some spinning moments from Pierre and Gabrielle, but luckily there was just no damage done to their cars. They were just able to kind of save it and just continue on, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of teams for FP1 were just like testing their tires. Most of them were on softs too, I noticed. So I don't think they expected anything exciting either.
Your top 3 at the end of FP1 was Lewis in P1, Lando in P2, and Oscar in P3. Bottom 5 was Franco, Paul, Ollie, Pierre, and Gabrielle.
Now, going into FP2 and nothing out of the ordinary, it wasn't really too much of an exciting session. Don't wake up early enough to watch these sessions, and it's usually in the middle of my workday. So I just catch up on highlights, to be honest. But your top 3 from the second session, we had Lando in P1, followed by Charles, and then Lewis, and then the bottom 5, we had Carlos, Nico, Pierre, Ollie, and Franco. Now, going into FP3, we did have some red flag drama, because there was 2 very quick red flags that came out, like around like halfway during the session, that actually messed with Lewis's time, which I know he wasn't too happy about it. Unfortunately, I get it though. Well,
I did hear, I think it was either Oscar or Lando, but it was a McLaren radio, and that the wind was really bad, and apparently that was actually one of the causes for the spins that we kept seeing happen throughout the weekend. And Lewis, like, I will say, he ate the curb a few times. And I'm pretty sure that also affected his seconds, like beyond the accidents.
Yeah, and to say the least, that eating the curb is a big foreshadowing going into the rest of the weekend because that weather and everything. It's typical English weather, you know? But towards the end of the session, we had Gabriel who lost control through maggots and Beckett's. It's a mouthful for me to say by like saying that. He ended up being in the gravel, and then Ollie found himself in the barriers towards the end, which again brought out some red flags.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting FP3. But to wrap it up, we had the top 3 with Charles, Oscar, and Max. And in the bottom 5 with Gabriel, Fernando, Franco, Lance, and Pierre.
At the end of FP3, Ollie was hit with a 10-place grid drop for a red flag infringement during the session, which obviously it sucks because it's his home race and you don't want any issues at your home race. But it happens. There's nothing he can do about it.
Just learning lessons.
But I was excited that for qualifying in Q1, we already had Gabriel's car back in session. Sauber kicked ass getting that done because I was a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't sure if that would be done in time.
Yeah, because I think we've had some incidents like this year or like this season so far where like a car can't get fixed in time for quali. I know it's happened like for like free practice and everything, like it get, you know, FP2 or whatever, but those mechanics, give them a raise. Pronto. Bonuses.
The fattest raise of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They definitely deserve it.
And no, for real, the work they put in, I couldn't. I would cry under that pressure. But that's me. Now, Franco. He found himself in the barriers, but luckily he was able to get out. So it was a yellow flag for a very, very, very hot second. But literally, if you look at our notes, it literally says, never mind, red flag. Because Franco couldn't finish the lap to get himself into the pits because like it's just a danger not only for himself but for all the other drivers if he's at snail's pace.
He was also just dropping way too much debris, on the track. Otherwise, I think he could have made it if the debris had been dropping from the car. Yeah, very valid.
I mean, I literally wrote a note down that originally said, "Oh, thank God, at least he's able to drive it back." And then I had to follow it up with, "Damn it, did I jinx him?" Because I truly think I did. I'm so sorry, Franco. I did not mean to jinx you, my guy. We'll never really know if I am responsible for that or not, but
you're responsible.
Yes.
I will apologize just to be on the safe side. I know I am not the only girl in PGP who spent most of this weekend trying to find Meg anytime they panned to Lando stand. Because I was literally trying to play a game of friggin' Where's Waldo of trying to find this girl in the stands. Did I succeed? Absolutely not. Did I try? No. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I wish they did.
All tried.
I think, yeah, definitely, because I know every time, like, they would pan out to the stands, you would just see, like, the sea of, like, that neon, like, yellow-green of his color. But I wish they did, like, more close-ups like they usually do in other races, like, in the stands, so, like, I can be like, where Meg at? Where is she? Because it was cool to be, like...
in Spain, they always close up on Carlos's
yeah,
stands.
exactly. And usually for other races, like, in general, they always, like, do close-ups, like, in the stands. So I found it kind of odd that they didn't for the Lando, but seeing that, like, sea of his color was pretty cool.
Intense.
With the yeah. Max
definitely
fans
has a fan base.
Yeah, I think it's up there with the Max fans for sure. Because
it is.
Yeah, love it for them though. They clearly had a great weekend because the Ferrari suffering continues because Charles was noted for a yellow flag, impediment, whatever. I can't even pronounce the word. But luckily for him, there was no further investigation. But it continues because all I have to say is, Ferrari, what the F were you guys doing? What the absolute F?
I think about what they be thinking, and I think they're just high.
I think so too.
How can you only fuel for one push lap for Lewis and Charles, two of the best drivers on the grid, and think that's all they're going to do?
Exactly. Like...
I mean,
I don't get it. They're high.
You not gonna have enough fuel for a 7-time world champ at his home Grand Prix for qualifying?
It was so close.
I don't know.
It was
how do you not put enough, like...
They were drinking
It's
mimosa that
wild
morning
work.
or something.
I'll have
They
whatever they're
just-
smoking.
They messed up.
Facts.
Yeah.
I want to know. Let the public know, because it must have been some good shit.
It's
It
just
must have been.
for real.
Not having enough fuel for Lewis Hamilton at his home race is just wild work, Ferrari. You guys should know better than this.
It's
Especially,
Ferrari. Like, you guys are Ferrari, for crying out loud.
You know what? You would think with all the money that they put into Lewis to get him on this team, that they would
Literally.
be more on top of shit to not ruin their investment.
Exactly.
like, they were lucky he was able to sneak through to
Yeah.
14th, but, like, he barely got
By
by.
his teeth, yeah. The skins of his teeth, like.
I am not a Ferrari girly, and I was ready to riot.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to riot every weekend.
The gloves are always
I-
on.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, the math just didn't math. I'm pretty sure my neighbors heard me shouting at my television because my window was open. And I literally think I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because literally, what the heck was that? By the end of Q1, we lost Liam, Gabriel, Lance, Nico, and Franco.
Now, going to Q2, the start was kind of calm and quiet, but I do want to say it seems like Silverstone, besides Miami, but Silverstone itself, like, you can really see the celebrities coming out that actually really like the sport there. So,
Yeah.
like, you can tell they're big sports fans. And we had a little random Keanu Reeves spotting, and I love the man. He has a special place in my heart. And in case if you missed it, he's actually involved in a documentary coming out soon. I don't know how soon, so don't take my word for it. In the future, on the new Cadillac F1 team that will be on the grid next year. I'm just excited. I like seeing him on the grid and everything. So it's just nice to
I will
see.
say, you saying that, you're so right. Silverstone, I feel like, is where you see the celebrities that actually want to watch the racing. And then Monaco
Yes.
and Miami is where you see the celebrities that are just trying to get photos.
Like, yeah.
They're
It's the
just trying to
people
get photos.
who want to
I'm
be
sorry.
seen versus the people who actually, like, are there to watch the race
Yeah.
and, like, enjoy the sport.
Maybe
I
Silverstone
mean-
has that good history.
It does. I mean, it makes sense. It is one of the more historic tracks, and I feel like they pull a lot more of the, like, UK European
Mm-hmm.
actors, so they have a better chance of being into F1 because it's just more prevalent in Europe and in the UK, so, like, it does make sense. I will say I love Keanu Reeves, but, like, Keanu Reeves and motorsport, in my head at least, go hand in hand at this point. I mean, please consider this my PSA that if you have not watched Braun the Impossible F1 story, that you go check it out ASAP. It is 4 episodes. It is not that much of that big of an undertaking to handle. It's on Hulu, and I think it might
It's
be
on Disney
also
Plus.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's a
I
masterpiece.
highly, highly recommend it. It's fantastic. The one thing with Q2 was, like, the final 2 minutes of the session had me so stressed. It's not even funny. If I had a heart rate monitor on me, I would have probably been setting off so many different things because I was stressed.
I felt like I was watching a ping pong challenge. Because I just kept seeing Charles and Lewis, and then even Alonso was on Charles's ass the whole time. And I'm just flying. My eyes are flying between their times like a ping pong challenge. Because I was like, what is happening that Alonso is fighting with Ferrari right now? That shocked me. Obviously, Newey, he's coming up. But on top of that, I was just like, I did not expect the tenths and seconds to be so close to one another in the last 2 minutes.
I think my favorite moment was seeing Pierre Gasly just, like, casually sneak through to Q3. It was just really nice to see that happen. I will say it was just really nice to see Lewis and Charles at the front of a
Thank
session
God.
compared to how Q1 was kind of looking for them. Because, again, I was stressed.
You were stressed. I had to go take Lexi to the vet during the middle of Q2. And I remember we were, like, in the little waiting area, and I was just like, I think it ended. And then I went to the doc to see anything from like Amy update, and I was like, there's nothing. So I went straight to the F1 page, and I was like, Lewis and Charles in top 2. And I was like, oh my god, they're so...
I should have texted you. I meant to do that. And then I was just like way too stressed for getting ready for Q3 that I was like, I can't even send the text message right now.
Send help.
I will
Literally
say,
was
as much
me.
as I love, as much as I love those boys on top, I was still sad to see Williams out.
Yeah, valid. Because this is their home race too.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, it is. That was a little sad. But just a little silly too. We had Carlos, Yuki, Isaac, Alex, and Esteban, our Esty Bestie, out in Q2. Which honestly disappointing for all of them. I love all those drivers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Big facts.
I will say, as much as I was disappointed in Williams getting out, and Yuki obviously too, I had to keep in mind, listeners keep this in mind too, the weather is drizzly. It's windy. And now in Q3 was when the sun started kind of coming out and the track started getting drier. And you know what? On top of that, a win is a win. We had 4 Brits in the top 10.
Yes, that's the important part right there.
I'll take that win.
I mean, I really thought Lewis had pole until he didn't. Like, Lewis, I love you, King. But, like, it was kind of the definition of, like, so close, yet so far at the same time.
Truly.
Yeah, I mean, Oscar even ended up ending the race with like some floor damage from hitting the curbs. I don't know. I'm sure losing by 1/10 of a second was also not the mood.
No, especially at your home race. But it's like, I also think about like, McLaren is just on fire right now. Those cars are like rocket ships right now.
Mhm.
They're the new
Literal
ships.
rocket ships.
So it's like, again, so close yet so far. But maybe the things are looking good for Ferrari with these updates.
I mean, you know somebody pulled out a banger of a lap when the F1 TV team is in utter shock over
Yeah.
the pole. Like, that told me so much. Hearing them just like, oh my god, what? I mean, I will not complain about pole position number 44 for Max Verstappen. Maxie, babes, I love you. You were honestly kind of on fire. It was just such a good lap. You've got to kind of give him the kudos for it.
And we love when it's like a good surprise like that.
A win is a win.
Hey, a win's a win. We got to hand it to him. We do. So that leads us for our top 10 for this Silverstone weekend. We had Max, of course, in P1, followed by Oscar in P2, Lando in P3, George in P4, Lewis P5, Charles P6, Kimi in P7, Ollie in P8, Fernando P9, and Pierre in P10. Now, keep in mind, Kimi will be dropping 3 places from 7th, and then Ollie will also be dropping 10 from 8th. Hi, Teddy.
Hi, Teddy.
It's actually
Goodness.
not Teddy. This is my nephew.
Oh,
Wait,
the
come
Frenchie.
I'm like, I heard it. I'm like, who in the heck is coming in hot?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Baby.
I'm so sorry. Anyway.
Good.
You know,
Is
it
it a
happens.
PGP ep if we're not interrupted by somebody's animal
It's either Lexi.
or significant other?
No, but really.
Literally.
No, it was definitely disappointing to see Kimmy and Ollie drop. I don't love to see that happen to some of my favorite drivers, but I will say we're getting into the race. It's time for the Grand Prix, and I just want to take a moment to note we are now officially halfway through the season. We're
Crazy.
12 out of 24
Wild.
races.
Crazy.
Yep. It's exciting.
Where did the time go?
Just flies.
Into Oscar's win right now. That's where the time is flying.
I mean, hey, I love getting to hear any F1 TV team or any media announcer say the words Drivers' Championship leader Oscar Piastri. It
Which
is
is wild.
honestly
To hear still.
my favorite thing to hear right now. I'm living for it. Ahead of the race, though, we did also get news that Franco Colapinto was going to be starting from the pit lane instead of P20 like he was supposed to. And just a reminder, as per the penalty, Ollie was dropping from P10 to P18, which kind of sucks, but like, it is what it is.
Yeah, it really sucks for them. And yeah, we all have our opinions on Alpine and their choices that they make, unfortunately. And then even just to like add to the drama of the start, the formation lap of this race was actually behind a safety car because the track was still wet from the rain earlier.
I mean, we are in the UK. When does it not rain?
Honestly.
The craziest thing is that, like, I think even before the formation lap was finished, Franco didn't even actually do a formation lap, to my knowledge.
No.
He got rolled right into the garage and didn't even get to start, which sucks. I feel like that is our second do not start of the season. I think we had one last race. We had one this race. I would like that to stop. I don't like seeing DNSs. I would rather somebody DNF than not start.
Yeah.
Like,
very valid.
That's just me personally. Before we even get to the starting lights, we have so many people diving into the pits for slicks. We had George, Charles, Isaac, Gabriel, and Ollie all going in before lights out, which just stressed me out. I mean, I know they're allowed to, but it was just kind of stressful to watch.
It was an interesting choice.
It really and truly was. Now, lights go out, and it was a pretty standard start. But seeing Pierre Gasly absolutely hauling ass at the start was so iconic. Go off PG-10. That was so perfect.
As Chris said, he was being a menace today. And well-deserved. Because I do like seeing Pierre. Pierre's like one of the other drivers I like. Not top favorite, but I like rooting for him.
Yeah.
And it's nice seeing him, doing good, especially for a lower field team.
I think Pierre is definitely one of those drivers that's really fun to see pop off. Because I think of last season when he got first place. I can't remember what track it was. But when he tries, that shit's fun to watch.
When that
Obviously,
car
he's
can
always
deliver.
trying, but like when the car can deliver to what he's trying to put out, like that's amazing.
Exactly.
I love a Pierre podium. I think we need a lot more of it, but Alpine needs to get their ish together.
Yeah, it's definitely Alpine. I understand why Oscar didn't go.
Exactly. Very valid. Now, the chaos just continues on because we saw Liam go into the barriers and a yellow flag and a virtual safety car had come out.
In that exact same time frame, we also see a radio message come through from SD Bestie that says, quote, "I've got damage and I will bet you money that it was Liam." I mean, there was probably absolutely nothing that SD could have done, but I would put money on it being the Liam situation.
Yeah, the replays like shows like Esteban just had like nowhere to go. Unfortunately,
it was because SD tried squeezing in left, but then Lawson was hitting it from the right, and that's what happened to SD's car.
Just some
wheel-to-wheel
action, unfortunately. Now, I know we spoke about Franco not starting, but I didn't realize it for whatever reason, to be honest. Because all of a sudden, randomly, I'm just like, Franco's out too. Like, I love the kid. I want to root for him as well too, but again, it's just like, I don't know what's been going. I think Alpine is just cursed in general for whatever reason at this point. Like, it's that's all.
I swear, somebody in F1 has to have paid at least one, if not multiple Etsy witches to like curse half of this damn grid, both drivers and teams alike. Because what is in the air today?
What's going on in the house F1?
I honestly feel really bad for Franco. I feel like the kid is constantly under pressure at Alpine without any actual help from them because they cannot make the car he needs. Because what happened was he was stalled and stuck. That had nothing to do with him. In my
Exactly.
head.
That's literally what happened to freaking Carlos last race. He stalled out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
I
it.
wonder if this is because of all the upgrades they have planned for 2026, and it's like they're trying to get ahead in certain things, and it's just
Yeah.
not adding up, right?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah, once you say that, like, that would make a lot of sense. But I just feel for the kid because it's like, it's that pressure. We also know, what's his name? Flavio has said his stuff with the contract. And then the press too, where it's like his contract just got extended. It's like, well, now we'll see what happens with his contract. But it's like this stuff, like, it's not even his fault. And it's the same thing with Jack.
Did it get extended, or did he just get more
It was like extended by 5
stipulations?
races.
Yeah,
So-
more stipulations.
I thought it was supposedly just extended on a race-by-race basis, not another 5 full races.
That's even worse.
Exactly.
Which I mean, as I feel like I said this last episode, but Flavio is going to Flavio.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Hate him.
I hate it.
that man.
I still have so many issues with Flavio, and I really wish that F1 had upheld his race ban, because he really shouldn't be around the younger generation
He needs
of
to be
F1
gone
drivers.
away in the
He's
F1
just-
universe.
He's I feel like he's mildly harmful to their mental well-being.
100%.
I understand that.
Agreed.
Now, well, I could rag on Flavio until I am blue in the face.
We all
and
can.
absolutely have. I feel like we need to talk about the fact that, like, early on in the race, they put up the graphic of where drivers have dropped and or moved, and I flipped because I see Nico Hülkenberg and up 8 places.
It was wild.
I'm sorry, what?
It was amazing.
Crazy.
And then I also see George has dropped 10 places and Charles has dropped 9.
Not
Like,
amazing.
Yikes. That's all I have to say. Yikes.
And not amazing too, because while we had Nico up 8 places in the top like 5, like at least in the top 10 at this point in the race,
Mm-hmm.
Gabby,
Gabby.
he almost
I
got
don't
out.
know, bro.
Like the rookies were just not having a good time this weekend. That is all.
This track is not for the rookies.
It's not. Nope.
Silverstone really went, oh, you're a rookie, you're cursed.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, can we please not? My heart cannot hang with these. Are they out? Are they not out? What the hell is going on? I really need to start wearing a heart rate monitor when I watch these damn races, because
Just look at your Apple Watch.
I don't have one. I'm gonna have to get one simply so I
Just
can
for
track my heart
F1.
rate.
No, literally, we need to start like wearing like the little Oura rings or
Something.
Apple
because,
Watches.
Like, our poor hearts are going through the ringer every other weekend with these races.
for real.
Honestly, I just felt really bad for Gabriel, because the poor guy, he almost made it to the pits, and this wing, I think it was his rear wing, was just flapping around,
Hanging on dear life.
hanging by
Dear
a freaking
life.
thread.
Literally. And now, at this point in the race, we started to see a lot of commentary, a lot of radio messages of heavy rain. Heavy, to say the least. Predicted in 10 laps. And all I can think is just, Lord. I get scared when there's rain, especially heavy rain, because I think back to, like, Suzuka with that incident with, like, Pierre, or, like, Brazil last year, where it was just, like, insane amount of rain, where it's, like, there's no... you can't see clearly. And it's just, like...
No visibility.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the
No.
word. And it just scares
Yeah.
me a lot.
I mean, when they showed the sky, I was just like, okay, that's menacing as fuck. Like, it was just so dark and ominous. I mean,
No, that shit
definitely
was
not
spooky.
not as bad as like the sky in Brazil last year, where like that stuff was like
Insane.
bordering on like black. It was so dark and cloudy, but like still menacing and ominous looking.
I don't know. I respect the drivers that see the rain and they're still challenged enough to want to race in it, because I wouldn't want to race in that.
I'd be like,
That
I'm
would-
out.
Especially with the curbs that they're taking, the turns that they're taking, like, you can freaking go spinning at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have Pierre Gasly absolutely rocking out this race on my bingo card.
A menace.
Because that man was literally just like chilling in P5 and was somehow holding on to fast lap for quite a while. I literally was shouting at my TV, "Go, Pete, go!" because he was just in his own little world, just like driving. Like he
Big fan
really
of his work this weekend.
Yes, very big fan. Very.
It was perfect. It was everything I didn't know I needed and then some. We did sadly, however, have Gabriele Bortoleto officially out of the Silverstone Grand Prix with virtual safety car round 2. It sucked. We don't like to see our rookies fail. Now, as I mentioned, Franco didn't actually start the race. And I did not find out until like mid-race because I really wish I had had a camera on myself to show my face when I heard them say that he didn't even take the pit lane start. Alpine. How is Pierre in P5 and Franco doesn't even start? I don't understand it.
It's insane because like apparently his car was just like stuck in second gear while in the pit, so like that's the reason why he just wasn't able to start. Like it just makes no sense, to be honest, because usually like when one starts like kind of going AWOL, the other follows.
Honestly, I'm just sad to see the guy DNF because, like we just talked about, he's under so much pressure. On a race-to-race contract, I cannot imagine how that is any...
It's not good. Like psychologically.
Mentally.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
psychologically. Like, how can you race with that kind of pressure in your mind?
Exactly. It's just like any job. Like, if you know, like, your job's on the line.
Like, you know why I think one of the reasons Oscar did so well is because McLaren kept proving how much they wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when he didn't do well sometimes, and he first started, like, McLaren kept pushing, like, no, we're keeping Oscar.
Yeah, they're like, it's okay. Like, you're a rookie still. Like, it's bound to happen.
I feel like Alpine does not do that.
Yeah.
Right. But Alpine, I don't think, gives that kind of encouragement to their drivers, let alone a rookie.
I feel like there are some teams who are better set up to support a rookie and some that just really aren't.
No, I 100% agree.
I know that sounds bad, but...
It's like, honestly, it's like, what do you guys expect from a rookie?
A rookie.
I mean, we've talked about that, though. Like, Red Bull, remember? We said they wouldn't be a good rookie team.
No. Yeah, that's why they have V-Carb.
Right.
So, it's like, it's... That's all. But the superstar spotting just continues on during the race because we have a K-Max spotting in the Steak Sauber garage. I never thought I would see the day because we all know their little chaotic history. And I mean, if you're asking me, I think he's the reason why he brought the chaos to the race because he is our chaotic king.
It definitely encourages him.
Exactly. I squealed. I absolutely squealed when I saw him. I love Kevin Magnussen, so I love getting a Viking sighting in the garage, but I will put money on the fact that he absolutely brought the rain, brought the chaos, and managed to be kind of a good luck charm all at the same damn time. How? I don't know. It's Kevin Magnussen. I don't really want to question it anymore.
I feel like as much as they used to fight when they were on the team together, they definitely were pushing one another consistently.
I think they had their little tiff, but I feel like when they came back together for a second time, whether they were in like the equivalent of couples counseling, I don't know, but like they worked through it.
It was that bond of being girl dads.
I think that's what it was too.
They worked through it. Like their last season at Haas together, like they were the husbands.
Yeah.
They were like the besties.
The Haas dads. Now, speaking of chaotic teammates and just chaotic battles, I actually really enjoyed at one point during the race seeing that battle between Oscar and Max for the lead. Like, it was just such good, like, wheel-to-wheel action that, like, whole, like, this corner is going to be the corner that he takes him. Okay, Oscar has, like, DRS now, and it's like, nope, Max still has it. I love, like, racing moments like this.
I love seeing this because obviously this is going to be a hot take, but I think Oscar can truly be at Max's level faster than we expected, in my eyes, especially with McLaren like backing him and the car they have. Because Oscar is like,
He brings it.
yeah, like he has this Max energy. I don't know how else to describe it.
He's
More
cool,
quiet,
calm, and
but Max
collected.
energy. Yeah. I love watching him race.
Same here. Now, who doesn't love a good tire strategy, especially when we're questioning things? Because all the drivers who had pitted for the dry ones, for the slicks and everything, first, all of a sudden are going in for inters. Because why? The rain was pouring. Like, it just looked like
Buckets.
it was raining literally cats and dogs, and it's just like it just,
And it's crazy that they keep pushing.
it is. And then, just speaking of like that insanity going on with the weather, all I gotta say is, May girl, I know you were screaming during that overtake from Lando for P2.
She absolutely lost her mind. No doubt
As she should.
about
As she
it.
should.
I honestly think this was one of the best races Meg could have gone to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, have
So
to give
shade since
kudos.
she's a Lando fan.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I feel like we need to give some kudos to the fans who also like rocked out and did not budge during all of this chaotic weather that they were going through on track, because there's no coverage for these fans.
See,
I mean, it's
yeah.
like you say though, it's Silverstone.
Mm-hmm.
When does it not rain?
And I feel like, honestly, in my experience, like when I've gone to like music festivals and everything, I'm that type of person. Like, this forecast can say it's like sunny, no cloud sky, but I will, for any reason, always bring a rain jacket just to
Smart.
be safe, just in case of anything, because you never know, and also just to keep warm, because sometimes like it does get a little breezy at night.
That was me at Coda. I had a raincoat in my backpack the
You just
entire
never know.
weekend,
You just
even though
never
we
know.
had no rain in the forecast.
You just never know, and I feel like it's just it's better being safe than sorry. And so, but they kept the party going. I can't blame them either. So now I gotta say that we all talk about all the time, the FIA is just gonna FIA when they want, but I gotta give them their kudos because they brought out a safety car, and it was a smart move. Like, thank
I
you.
still don't like them.
I don't think we ever will, but I gotta give them credit this one time. Because yeah.
The craziest thing is the fact that prior to the safety car coming out, Oscar had pulled out a 15-second lead. I'm sorry, but that is absolutely wild
Bonkers.
work. Like, go off, King. Around lap 15, I look up and all I see is Lance Stroll just casually rolling in to fourth.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
sorry.
insane to see that.
I thought I was hallucinating for a second.
Honestly, I did too, because Lance had been booking it the whole race.
And so
Like,
silently.
yeah, during the pouring rain, like he was going straight booking it. And I was shocked but excited. But I was excited. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, it definitely was like an eye-opener for that moment, because like it's one of the drivers you don't expect to see up there, especially like how the season has been going on for him. But it's always like, it's a good shock to see him up there. Now,
Yeah.
the star sign continues, and I did fangirl a bit. Tom Felton was in the Mercedes garage. I did fangirl. I literally yelled. I was like, "It's Tom!" And then Chris was just like, "Oh my god!" But I was very excited because I know he's been like doing some Formula racing. I think it's in like FE. Like he did something like very
he
brave.
did
Yeah. He
Yeah.
did something.
He did a session in a Formula E car
Yeah.
a few months ago.
Yes. So yeah, I was excited.
I have one thing to say and one thing to say only, and that is, did somebody say Draco Malfoy? Because I was screaming right alongside Mel.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even lie. The person that really had me losing my mind when I saw them in the garage was, I did not expect to see Chuck Bass in an F1 garage.
It was very like random to see him there. I feel like.
Silverstone really got the goods this year. Like, Ray was in the Ferrari garage, which is unsurprising because she is besties with Lewis. but I did not expect a Chuck Bass sighting. I was so pleasantly surprised.
There was so many sightings in so little time to
No,
see everyone.
literally. We had like, to name some quick ones, we had João Felix. He's a Portuguese soccer player. I think he plays for AC Milan right now, or Inter Milan.
Yes.
We also saw Anna Taylor-Joy, who I think she's actually
Love.
friends with Lewis. Big fan of her. Rebecca Ferguson. She is in Silo / she is Timothy Chalamet's mom in Dune. So it was just like Tom Felton was in the Alpine garage.
Felicity Jones was also there.
So it's
like Hannah Waddingham. Like they got like
everyone.
awesome celebs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, they all look like true racing fans, and so I
know Anya Taylor-Joy is.
Yeah. So it's like
Because she's talked about it.
It's nice to see, because I know some people feel some type of way when like influencers get flown out and they don't know anything. But that's another topic.
I get it.
Another topic for a different day, for sure. Now, this hurts to say, because I'm a big fan of this rookie. We had a DNF from Isaac. He found himself in the barriers, and it was a nasty crash. A yellow flag came out, but this is actually a first double DNF for the Racing Bulls, I believe, for this season. And he was doing so good this season so far, but I feel like he's just had like a little bit of a not so good streak, and
The F1 TV team called it a corner of commitment. Yikes, y'all. That crash, the end result of that crash looked so rough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so glad that he was okay.
No, literally. Yeah. It's always good when they come out okay. Like, we don't want anything happening
like
to
safe.
them. Exactly, yeah, because it's like we've seen some pretty bad ones, and it's just like, I don't like those moments either. But it turns out like the poor guy actually like ran into the back of Kimmy's car, like essentially like with all the rain mist and everything, he just couldn't see Kimmy's red lights in time, and by the time he saw them, like it was just too late. Then unfortunately, because of that damage, Kimmy also DNF'd.
Honestly, I was just really sad, like, for both rookies. Because obviously these mistakes happen. And like you said, it was the miss. That's out of his control. He can only try his best. And that's the problem with these rain races. Like, I loved the idea of them. Very exciting, very cool. Like, oh my God, so much action. But it's also like, okay, but these are kids, low-key, driving these crazy cars that are going to get into accidents, that can get hurt, that can catch on fire. And I'm just like, why do we make them do this?
No, literally. And then it's just crazy for like the Red Bull house right now, because right when the safety car ends, Max just spins and he drops to 9th place.
Another example.
Another one.
I screamed. And then I immediately followed it up with giggling because somebody in the F1 TV team said he was in a Williams sandwich, and I
he
just
literally was.
Could not stop myself. Honestly, the crazier spin, I feel like, was Ollie Bierman, because he spun and he luckily ended up going the right way, but he was really lucky that he kind of came out where he did, because he could have just driven right into a barrier. And he came out in a place where he could at least get back on track.
And you know that his poor dad, I know that man is stressed out week in, week out.
Well, especially this weekend, because his brother also drives F4.
Yes. There was like footage of them like watching him and everything. So
they went on their tiptoes at the same time.
It was cute.
Genetics really went copy paste.
It was cute. I saw that video. Now, Oscar. He was noted by the stewards for a safety car infringement. He got awarded a 10-second penalty. Essentially, long story short, he took a very risky decision that I think worked. I think, if I remember correctly, they said it was in Barcelona where it worked, where the safety car had ended, and I guess like he was able to brake at last minute, and it worked in his favor, so he was able to like kind of like psych to Max, but this time it didn't work out for him.
No, and it honestly could have been another accident.
Could have been
track
very
with
bad.
Max too. Like,
Very.
that wasn't the... I understand why they gave the penalty. That was not a smart decision.
No, exactly. It's just a learning lesson for him. That's all. And then the penalties continue and especially in Red Bull, because why not, right? Because Yuki was then given a 10-second penalty for causing the collision. Like, if it's someone, if it's not one of them, it's the other, and if it's not one team, it's the other team.
I don't know, man.
Penalties galore. I literally almost needed to start keeping a tally because I just felt like they just kept coming.
For real.
No, and poor Bierman was the one that got hit into a spin in the process. Like, another rookie.
Another one. Like, make it make sense. It just was not the rookie weekend.
No.
That's all. We just need to have a separate race for them.
Just rookie?
Just the rookies, please. Just them. We can, like, make it, like, F1, like, 1.2 or something. Now, while all this craziness was going on with the spinning, with the penalties, and the drama, we have Nico. Yes, Nico, the Hulk. In third, like...
Beautiful.
It was insane.
I literally, my notes directly say, bestie, are we dreaming? Are we in an alternate reality? Honestly, the DRS overtake was a thing of beauty.
I think what was so shocking is that for P3, I was watching Lance and Nico race.
Who would have
for the
thought?
Position. I was like, oh, okay, like, this is fun.
We would have never... I would have never thought, like...
No, I wouldn't
Nobody
have.
had this on their bingo card. That's for friggin' sure.
No, exactly. Now, it wouldn't be a funny radio, like a race weekend without a hilarious radio message, because we had George come on talking about being brave, about, like, doing something in particular. I forgot what it was, but his race engineer literally goes, brave but not suicidal.
Oh, God.
That's all I gotta say, because it was... And then he just leads into a crazy, crazy spin.
But not suicidal.
Not brave.
No.
But not suicidal.
I need somebody to take that spin footage and put the spin in like a ballerina TikTok audio on it. Because, Georgie, I cannot. I can't. I know every single PGP girl was screaming at their television when they saw Steak Sour pull a 4.6 second pit stop for Nico.
They were messing him up.
I was ready to fight someone. I'm about to, like, send a chancla, like, down there.
I don't understand how Sauber sees that their team is in the points, in the top 5, and says, you know what? I'm gonna take my time.
It's okay.
See, the thing is that I can't quite tell is that I can't tell if they had a jack issue or if it literally was just a slow friggin' pit. I need to go back and rewatch it because I truly can't tell if it was just like an issue with getting a wheel off or like if somebody messed up. Like I can't tell.
We just have a lot of questions.
They were probably just so excited that Nico was in third that they got shaky. They're like, we can't mess this up. We can't mess this up. And then they messed it up.
You know what? Is very valid. Very valid.
That would make sense to me.
But you know what? Y'all better get used to this with Audi next year.
True.
Hell yeah.
And that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Speak that into existence, baby.
Period.
Honestly, the craziest thing I think of this entire race was seeing the synchronized spinning from the Haas boys. It brought me both immense joy and immense pain at the exact same time, if I'm being really friggin' honest.
Chris Larry just, like, looks at me. He's like, yeah, there's synchronized swimmer spinner. He's like, what are they called? I'm like, synchronized swimmers in the Olympics. He's like, yeah, but spinners. I'm like, yeah, totally.
Gold medal.
Totally. Gold medal.
10 tens all across the board.
Perfect, right there.
Now, I'm just thankful they didn't crash out.
No, exactly. Thank God. But it was just so perfect. It's like, honey, like how that like works out, like those little perfect spinning moments. Yeah. Little ballerinas. That's all. Now, our last celebrity sighting that we had for the weekend, we had, what's up his name?
Damson.
Thank you. Damson Idris from the F1 movie, waving the checkered flag, which me personally, I was a very big fan of. I think he is a perfect choice. I haven't seen the movie yet, but side note, a little moment. I've been having a lot of like my friends and family that are not F1 fans, have no clue about F1, saying that they love the movie and they didn't know anything about it. They didn't expect it to be so fast, so like grueling for the drivers. I'm like, listen, y'all want to keep watching it, let me know. So yes, I love that for him.
Honestly, I was also a big fan, and I think he was a great choice for the checkered flag.
Mm-hmm.
Very fitting over, I feel like some people, if they've chosen for flags before, this one felt right.
Yes.
It was the perfect choice. I didn't have a single note to give them. Now, by the end of the race, your top three was Lando Norris in P1, winning his home Grand Prix with our girl Meg there in person, which is just iconic as hell. I know she absolutely lost her mind. We had Oscar in P2 and Nico Hülkenberg in P3. I sincerely hope that somewhere in the world, Daniel Ricciardo was freaking out and shouting Nico Hülkenberg at the top of his lungs like only he can, because 19th to 3rd is absolutely insane.
That was crazy work. Crazy.
I definitely feel like this was one of his history drives for his career. But
Absolutely.
I am super happy to say McLaren also got the fastest lap with Oscar Piastri. Love him. You know what? It's okay that you didn't get first. You got something. You're still doing great.
And just let it be a learning lesson. That's all, Oscar. That's it. You're so young. I think he's still leading the championship anyways. But of course, driver of the day, it is Nico Hülkenberg. I am not going to say like Danny Rick, but imagine that I did. But I mean, aside me being happy for Lando taking it home at his home race,
right?
I am just ecstatic for a Nico podium. Like, it's just so well deserved. I remember thinking like, because there was at one point like Lewis was in fourth, like behind him, but like he was still like 5 seconds off. But I remember thinking, I was like, okay, if Lewis cannot get on podium, I want Nico on podium, because that man drove his ass off. Like,
He did.
It's insane.
Honestly, I was crying, literal tears.
I think you were definitely not the only one.
Because A, super deserved win. B, he had his bestie K-Mag in the garage for that win. And the fact that he also, C, gets to say that he held off Sir Lewis Hamilton is honestly, like, that has to be good for his ego.
I honestly think this was a very perfect movie moment race for him. There was tears of joy for that man. I truly think he deserved it after the time and effort he's put into Formula One.
Yeah.
Now, with the end of this race, we have McLaren absolutely sprinting away with that constructor's lead, because they have 460 points compared to Ferrari with 222. Yes, their 222 does bring me much joy, but like, that point disparity is wild.
At least we're in second place.
Big facts. Ain't that
A win is a
truth,
win.
girl? Honestly, I feel like my favorite thing from the post-race podium, or not even post-race podium, the post-race park Ferme with the teams, was the Sauber team absolutely chanting Nico's name.
It was so
loud.
cute.
Like, it was so cute. It had me so in my feels.
He deserved
But I
it.
think it's so deserved. The other thing that had me in my feels, where the drivers were getting to be with their teams and their families, was Lando with his mom. My heart melted. I was just like an absolute mess.
Yeah, I'm sure his family's super proud of him,
Mhm.
especially because he's only 8 points behind now for the championship.
It's going to get very
So,
spicy.
I'm sure Oscar's very frustrated, but Lando is definitely on a high.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the post-race podium, we finally get to see these trophies. And I did not know until they were going to the podium and somebody on F1 TV mentioned it, that the trophies are made out of friggin' Legos. Yes, Legos.
Yeah, I love Lego so much. So I was a really big fan, and I just love how they've been bringing those Lego touches to the race. Like, I know, like, they have the little, like, the signage, like, last race and everything. But it only just reminds me that I need to buy another F1 car set because I only have the Ferrari ones. Yeah.
Honestly, my Lego fan heart is ecstatic. Very creative, very fun. They should do this more often. And I hope for Lando's sake, they super glued it together.
Or he's going to have fun building it back together.
There you go. He can have instructions.
I mean, I know, like, post race, Nico even was like, oh my god, my daughter's going to have so much fun playing with this.
That's actually
And
hilarious.
she's going to take it apart into a million freaking pieces.
At least pictures last.
I hope he takes good pictures of it so he can figure out how to put it back together based off of what it should have looked like.
Hopefully they have instructions somewhere just in case.
Exactly.
Now, it would not be a PGP recap without some predictions. And now, while we do have a break until the next race, we do have to give our predictions for Spa. I decided to forego the tarot cards and went back to my pendulum for my predictions. And I feel like my pendulum decided to go a little rogue on me. So take these with a grain of salt, please. P1, I have Oscar Piastri. Again, I have not at all. It's Spa. There's bound to be absolute chaos.
Exactly, because Spa, such a legendary track. And I think this might be the last one we have there.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I have a lot of feelings
The
about.
contract is up.
Yeah, it's... not happy about that. And it's just, again, it's a guaranteed wild race weekend, but I'm going to add like a little twist and say that it will be another crazy weather weekend. I feel it.
That.
I feel it in my bones. Now, as for podium finishes, McLaren P1, P2, Oscar P1, Lando P2, could be vice versa. Regardless, the boys are going to be up there. P3, I'm going to say Pierre. That man was a menace this weekend. And
yeah.
I like.
And we all know when that car can, we said it, he tries his best. And when that car can deliver what he's trying, what he's trying, he can do it. And it happens at the most random times.
You know what? I think 3 is actually very possible for Alpine and Pierre.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
A Pierre podium at Spa would have me absolutely sobbing like a baby.
It would be
not
iconic.
even gonna lie.
Iconic.
Same. I am going to say it's an end of an era, saying goodbye to Spa. But I'm going to keep my prediction simple and sweet. I do think we're going to see Oscar in P1. I think Max is going to come for that P2. And this is just me because Lewis didn't get it this weekend, but I really want him in P3 next. I think we need a comeback from her.
You mean Ferrari?
For Ferrari.
Don't worry, it's still so weird seeing him in that red. It's so weird.
It still doesn't always compute
I just want the comeback for Lewis, whatever team he's on.
We all want
that.
We all
But
do.
I will say, this was an amazing weekend actually for watching the race. This was one of the funner weekends I think we've had this season. So to close out the episode, I have to let y'all know the moment of the weekend for me was Nico.
Same.
It was a Nico podium. He had 239 race starts before his first podium. I don't think there's anyone else more deserving.
He can finally let that stat go.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, that's a wrap on our British Grand Prix recap. From wheel-to-wheel battles to chaotic weather and questionable penalty calls, this race gave us plenty to talk about. Now, this season is not slowing down, and neither are we, besties. Make sure you join us next episode for part 1, yes, part 1 of our rookie season stories. We are diving into the world of the first year drivers, breaking down everything from adapting to F1 machinery, the pressure to perform under the spotlight, and how all of the 2025 rookies are handling it so far. Until then, do not forget to follow us on social media for all of the F1 chatter between episodes. You'll find us at Paddock Girls Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a review as well. 5 stars is the best. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time, besties, we will see you in the paddock. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.